So I'm going to talk a little more, of course, IT-wise, but a little more business-oriented about the hurdles that we have seen over the time. I'm Rasmus, and I'm heading up what we call Enterprise Platforms, Infrastructure and Security. Long title. But that is, we have 4 different business units in Demant, and they have their own IT people in each of these divisions, focusing on whatever they do. And I have the rest. So everything that goes across, which is HR systems, business intelligence, cloud center of excellence, stuff like that, is infrastructure and also the security. So it's my headache when stuff doesn't work. And that's why we're going to talk about that. So I would short talk about Demant, who Demant is, what we do, so you understand our business. And then the main issue that we had and how we solved the issue. And of course, we're not that many people, so if there are any questions, just raise your hand. I will try my very best. If it's too technical, let's see how it goes. So Demant is a company. We are more than 21,000 employees. I think we are turning 22, maybe 23. We purchase around 40 companies a year. I've been in the company for 13 years. And when I started, we were 7,000 employees, and now we are 22, 23,000. So a huge journey for us, which means we also add a lot of complexity into our system. We buy up companies that have this and that in their homegrown systems or whatever, and then we come with some standardized system that can't solve the problem. Then we try to do some programming, then we try to do stuff, and that's why we have added so much complexity into our setup. We have, as I said, I'm pointing over here or here. I do both, right? So we have 4 different business units, and clearly you see 5. Now I'm losing it. So we have 4 because one of them are for sale, actually 2. But instead, start with the hearing care. This is our retailers selling hearing aids day by day. It's like going to an optician's. I want new glasses. You go to a shop to get a hearing aid. We have around 3,700 shops globally. That is our own. So no franchise stuff. It is our own people employed by us. Then we have hearing aids, which is the area where we produce hearing aids. So all the production facilities is also all the wholesale department, but it's also the R&D function where we put a hell of a lot of technical stuff into a 7-gram hearing aids, so people can get their hearing back. In that area, we have around 1,000 R&D engineers working day by day to get people that have a disability of hearing their hearing back. So that's a fantastic journey. And we don't have Christmas sales like all the other ones, right? We sell, but we have, because at Christmas people meet up, and I don't want to have your dad again this year without being able to hear anything at all. So we see in November and December, we see the sales are climbing because it is important that people can hear. And by the way, it takes around 6 to 10 years from you have your hearing loss until you accept it. And we really want to have people getting their hearing. So we use a lot of energy to talk to people about having a hearing loss. It's still stigmatized, and that's why we really want people into our shops to get a test to figure out, do you have any problems? Should we help you? It is also proven that dementia also is part of having a hearing loss. Then you are all on your own, and then you have another problem. Then we have hearing implants, and I framed it because it's for sale, or we are, as we speak, offboarding part of that division, and that is severe technology. That's through surgery. So if you are totally deaf, born deaf, or by a disease can't hear anymore, then you can, through surgery, get your hearing back. Then it's you go to a doctor, and then they do all the stuff. So that's if you want to cry, watch those videos about cochlear implants, because that's where you see people hearing for the first time in their life. That's amazing. You know, the guy who headed up this business, he said, "I'm in the napkin business." A napkin business. Yeah, because you know, when a baby, newborn baby, 1 year old or whatever, get their hearing, they get to the side, and then they turn on. And the first time in her or his life, she hear his mom and pap's voice, the baby will start crying. Then the parents will start crying, and then the audiology will start crying. So we can still put some napkins and so watch though. If you want to cry, do that. Then we have diagnostic business, also huge R&D development area. So that's the area of, can you hear this? Probably a lot of you have tried it. Those big headsets on, beep, beep, can you hear this and that? And then you figure out if you have a hearing loss or not, or where you have the hearing loss. And then the last one, communication, which is EPOS. It's a headset division. That's also for sale. So 2 out of 5 are for sale, but this is the small business of our. If we look at how big we are, so we are not the biggest one in hearing care. There are one that are much bigger, because that's what they do. We are around the second best in the world of doing hearing aids, and by far the best in the diagnostic business. And the funny part is there are 5 global players in the hearing aid, and 3 of them are actually out of Denmark. So that's cool. That's cool. That's R&D background, right? So these are our products. So classic hearing aids in the ear or behind the ear. Then we have the one that are through surgery, either in the inner ear or sound vibration. Then a lot of technical stuff that you can figure out if you have a hearing loss. And the last one is our headset division, EPOS. So that's our business. Took this up because that's our part of our strategy for 24 in IT. We work a lot about globalizing, standardizing our setup. We purchase a hell of a lot of companies. We need to standardize. If we want to scale our business, we're going to scale the next couple of years being maybe double size. We need to be able to standardize as much as possible. We need to have simplified our ERP roadmap, because purchasing companies, we have a lot of stuff out there. We need to be much stronger on that area. Some of you might know that we were massively hacked in 2019. We're still fighting the cybersecurity, and we're still in front of the board of directors 4 times a year telling about where we are. So that's also very important. The portfolio collaboration, figuring out what do we do, securing that we do the right thing first. And cost management, of course, we can spend all our money in cloud services and whatever, purchasing expensive services from these guys, right? We have to monitor that closely. Let me skip the operational stuff. AI, everybody needs to have some. We have a lot of AI in our hearing aids, but we also do that for our end users to support them. Of course, the DE&I is also a journey. I can look around here. We need some more women in IT. So we do a lot of that. So circling back to operational resilience is extremely important for us. As I said, 13 years back, we were a small, 7,000 employees. Now we are very, very big. We cannot just continuing what we have done. We act sometimes as a startup company, and that doesn't work in our world. So we have to be much focused in being stronger in the operational resilience. And yesterday we had a whole day with the senior management, the 3 top managers, talking about how do we do IT. And one of the points were, how can we improve in operational resilience? And all of those knows about the system that we are going to talk about a little. So that's kind of fun. Normally they don't care about IT that much, but this area is interesting. If we look at IT at a bigger scale, that's where we are. So we have predominantly people in Szczecin in Poland, in Warsaw, Poland, Smørum in Denmark, and KL in Malaysia. That's our IT hubs. Then we have IT development sites in Somerset in New Jersey and in Sydney, Australia, also some other parts of Australia, so it's a big country. So that's where we have our own people. And then we have some offshoring if we need some more power in this and that. Then we do that through LTI Mindtree or Accenture, mostly out of India. Nothing can go wrong here, right? Nothing. It's simple, isn't it? They just follow the rules that we have set, right? You do this and that, and then everything is good. So that's why we sometimes see some issues. And a good developer, best view, well, I just do this and that in US, and all of a sudden they don't know anything about the next morning in Australia, what the F is going on. By that he's sleeping, right? So there are areas where we really need to improve, because it was much easier. We were sitting in the same building, in the same room, but we're not. I like this one because it says simplified, and it's not. It's definitely not simplified, but it's a current landscape of what we do. What do we work with? You can see the different business units, what they work on, but clearly there are some Sitecore, there are some Salesforce, there are some Navision or Dynamics AX, there are some Microsoft CRM. This is what the end users normally see day by day. And underneath there are a hell of a lot of stuff that supports them in all different areas. And mostly that's my headache down here, so that's why it's so complicated, being in my shoes sometimes. But let's focus in that area here. That's where we had the biggest issue, the biggest headaches in the area of hearing care, which is our retailers. So we have a Microsoft CRM solution, we have a diary management, own developed diary management solution, and a AX underneath that, and then some infrastructure in different areas. And I found this very, very old slide, and there might be a lot of changes in it, but this is the daily stuff, day by day. That's what they do, right? So we have a diary management solution, booking your the patient coming in. That's where we book. Then we have a point of sale. And some of the people out there says it stands for piece of shit. That's another story. Then we have the wholesale, skip that, but the CRM retail. Then we have the core, the AX core, and no golden instance. 3 different instances out there installed on our own data centers on different hardware, more or less the same, but different installations. And then we have a lot of integrations to e-business, how you configure hearing aids, is it in on the warehouse, stuff like that. Then we circle to the infrastructure, right? There's a lot of stuff. Is it a SQL? Is it operating system? We have a lot of layers in that area, physical layers, and then of course a hell of a lot of network. What can possibly go wrong? Nothing, right? That's simple, isn't it? Very, very simple. And then you add 3,700 shops, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think up to 10,000 users in this system. There is something wrong, yeah. Where is it? We always start with a network. It is a network, right? Many years in IT, it's always a network. Those stupid assholes in the network team, they don't know what they're doing. Yeah. And then they say, it's green. It looks very good from my side. Then it is the database. Must be the database. Then go to the DBAs. Everything looks good. Servers, it's always the servers the problem. Then we look at the servers. It's good, right? So we have had a lot of fights in that area. And then we look into, is it in the application? Is it in AX we have done some problem? Is it in the diary management, or is it in the CRM system, or is it in the integration between all those components? We don't know, right? We are firefighting, running around, and we start from beneath, and all of a sudden, one of the guys, maybe I added 10,000 lines of code yesterday or whatever. I'd comment something out, or maybe there was a problem, or maybe it was a database. I forgot to do this and that. So we have seen I have heard all the excuses in my life. So I have them all. I can tell you, I know what can be wrong. So that was our main headache. So no observability through the stack at all. A lot of different monitoring systems. Yeah, but we monitor the disks. Yeah, we monitor whatever we do, right? We do all this, but in silos, right? Going from one to another, talking. Can you fix that? Yeah, but it looks good. No transparency at all in these areas, and then also very sporadic monitoring of the application stack. We had some synthetic transactions. Very good, worked very good. And you see in our monitoring center, it's green, it's green, it's green. All of a sudden it's yellow. Oh, God damn, what do we do? But nobody knows why it's yellow. And then all of a sudden, we know it's going to be red. What do we do? Call some people in the middle of the night, right? Call them up. And now it's red. It doesn't matter because everybody is sleeping right now. Okay. And then we look at it in the morning. So we have had all this strange way of looking at that. And also the integration. We haven't had a clear view of how we integrate to our application stack. So they have been doing a lot of stuff, onboarding a lot of clever developers. Yeah, I can do this and that. I do this and I can integrate like this without having this. We have now an API framework. That's where we do it. But some years back, you just integrate. Point to point, whatever. Yeah. So that's also a problem. So that was more the technical part. Then going into what we more management-wise. So we had too much downtime, that's for sure. We did too much firefighting, and we don't want to be, our clever people shouldn't be working on the operation part. They should be working on the new stuff. But we have to drag them down to the swamp and look into the stuff to help us because we were in problems. So a lot of firefighting. And you know, the requirements for IT are much higher compared to back in those good old days, right? I'm that old that I'm working on a mainframe. Yeah. You go home, that's okay. When I started in Demant with the factory side, we have 3,000 people working in a factory in Stettin, and they said, hey, if the system is down, we just send them home. Yeah. Today we don't do that, right? However, there are areas that are so the BTE are standard production, so they can be just off-the-shelf stuff. We can be down in that area for an hour or two, or maybe a day. It's doable. However, it's a problem. It's costly, whatever. But back in those days, a week, that's okay. Not anymore. So we had all these dialogue about what do we do, and then our CIO said, so what does good look like? What is it that we really want to do? And at that time, I thought, it's just buying some time here because, it's costly, right? We don't want to spend our money on that stuff. So let's just be able to talk to the programmers and say, just create good code. Simple, right? Network guys, just do your job good, right? Simple. Isn't it simple? But at the end of the day, it's not. So we were asked to find what does good look like, and we had and the guy should be here today. The project manager scattered the what do we do, what is best for us, a lot of stuff in different areas, and then we create the business case based on that. And the business case was kind of easy, or well, depending on the price tag, guys. So I grade out the amount of dollars that we lose in revenue when we have problems. So that was Victor, who is heading up our IT team for the retailers in US. And I was in US around August 22. And I came over just to say hi and whatever, a lot of the guys, and blah, 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 chit-chat, how it is. And then they said, Rasmus, we need you in a meeting with the senior managers from the hearing care. Okay, not a problem. Nice guys. Then I saw this graph. Okay, they want to talk about downtime. Yeah, I knew, right? And I don't know if you remember John McEnroe, with his communication with the referees, right? And all of a sudden there were a lot of John McEnroes in the room. No, we speak good to each other. However, we put a pressure on the sales guys to sell more hearing aids, to get people into our clinics. And when the system is down, so this is our ATM. This picture is not a picture of us. I took that on the website. However, it looks more or less like our call centers. Ours are a little bigger because they have 2 screens. But this is where they sit, and that's our outbound call center. So we're calling out people that can't hear. What a business model. But that is the business model. And I was in Australia some months back, and I was sitting in one of those cubes and listened to some of that dialogue, and you can really hear if there are a customer or upcoming customer. Because then, Mr. Smith, can you hear me? So that's what we do. So yeah, it's odd, but that's the way it is. And then they book that patient for a test in the CRM system, creating a new customer. And if the CRM system is down or slow, you know how it is. If you are on the phone with somebody and all of a sudden, yeah, we can talk about the weather, stuff like that. And that's so embarrassing. And that's because of a system, slowness in the system, not good. So I wonder why that we had these problems. That was because we were down, that's one thing, but also having slowness into the system. If it goes from 10 seconds to 20 seconds to 30 to 1 minute or whatever to open or to store a new patient, that's not good. I know these guys in a call center, they should be much faster, right? So our ATM didn't work that well. And by the way, some of those that we are calling are older people, and some of them are very happy somebody's calling them, right? They can have a chit-chat because they don't talk to many people. So sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. So what it's all about in getting our customers down in the clinic and get a test so we can they can get the hearing back. That's what it's all about. So after we got a POC in end of 22, I think it was, and by the way, we haven't seen a lot of those business criticals. And when we see the business critical, now we know where it is. It's much easier for us to look at, okay, it's in this area, or it's in that area. It is network, or it is whatever it is, because we were kind of blindfolded before, or we guessed a lot. Estimated sounds better. So after that, we also had a dialogue about how can we implement that. So that was in the US. In the EMEA region, we also implemented it, and that's not the cost, that's the raise of business critical, only in the CRM system. They're probably as much in our booking system, the diary management. So you can see there are still some few business criticals in US, but not compared to where it were. And after we implemented the Dynatrace solution for us, we have seen very, very few business criticals. It is expensive. However, if we talk to the business, the senior managers in business, it is much more expensive to have the system down. So for us, it was a good journey. And this is from one of the developers. The biggest gain are still to see, right? We still improve day by day and minimizing the downtime and also being much more effective. This is a picture of where we were. That's in the EMEA region. So, and I normally navigate by colors, right? Green is good. Red is not good. Yellow, not good as well. So in January, we had a lot of reds, or at least too much red, some yellows. And now it looks much, much better within only a little more than 1 month, which is fantastic. So the developers actually inherit this, and they really looked at it. They use it every day when they log in the morning. This is the first, maybe coffee, and then this is it, where they look at. And the AI engine behind, maybe you can't see it, but it says 27 here, and problems, and 2 here, still green. But if you have those small problems, that's why we have our issues. We figure that out. So there is that AI engine behind coming, telling, oh, you should do this and that. We predict this is smart. And it gets clever, more and more clever. And all of a sudden we will not have those sloppiness in the keyboard that we have seen for a long period of time. Timing wise, where are we? Couple of minutes. Okay. Maybe I talked about that, but we saw before that when we had an incident, we were fighting to find the resources to figure out where is the problem. And all hands on deck because system down. And then we take the whole stack. And when we have a business critical, that's the card, out of jail card. You can use that out of jail card, and then everybody should, whatever they do, they should work on this. That's the way we work. And when we have a lot of those, you get out of your zone where you do programming or whatever you do, and then we are 15 people working in that area, trying to solve the issue. And now it's much easier for us to see, okay, this is the part. This is where we're going to do it. It was the network, or it was the database, or whatever. So a lot of time saved, and also less business criticals, which in my chair, I love. So some of the main values out of it, looking for a perspective of the IT manager in US. So he's the biggest fan ever. He was the one saying, okay, let's do this. And he's still also, even though he's managing a couple of people, that's his first thing in the morning, log into the system, see where we are, and be able to say, okay, it looks like we need to have a DBA instead of something is wrong. That wasn't what it used to be. And the application supporter that supports different applications can easily or more easy drill down to the setup and look at what did the user do, or we don't need a global SME from network team or database team or whatever to look at it. I can myself see, okay, this is the problem. So a huge value for these guys, but also in the monitor, the SME who's responsible for our monitoring or observability, it says today. So much more proactivity. We can see what is coming and also be able to consolidate much more because we have so many of those monitoring solutions that normally are built into whatever we use.